My name is Ayla,
And I'm Sarah.
and we are your Future Career Academy District Directors.
Today we have an exciting interview with Terrence and Josh. Can you go ahead and introduce yourself by stating your name, role, company, and the industry you represent?
What's going on, guys? My name is Josh Nieves. I am the Workforce Development Manager in Tampa, Florida for Miller Electric Company, serving the electrical construction industry.
And good morning. My name is Terrence Freeman, and I am the Senior Program Manager for Workforce Development Strategic Initiatives. I work for Miller Electric Company, and we are in the electrical construction industry.
Great. I'm so excited to have both of you here today to join us. Thank you for being here.
Alrighty, so seniors are about to graduate. What types of entry-level positions can they obtain in your industry with just a high school diploma?
That's an amazing question. So, as it pertains to the apprenticeship program, right? That's my wheelhouse. You can come and apply right after high school, as long as you are ready, willing, and able to work, and you have that diploma in hand, and you are over the age of 18. What's also really great about Miller Electric is there's also great opportunities on the corporate side as well, which I believe Terrence could probably speak more to.
Yeah, we love to meet students where they're at. And so good morning, good afternoon, whatever time it is that you're watching this. But we have, as he mentioned, the apprenticeship program. I have the pleasure of meeting great students like you all that may be interested in just working right now and maybe not going into an apprenticeship program, because that is a multi-tiered process where you're going to have to take an aptitude test, you're going to have a background test, and then go into that interview process. We have what we call a construction wireman, where we can just take you right, no necessarily having any information or skills to do the job, because our motto here is earn while you learn. And so you can do that out in the field, or you can come into the office if you're interested in being someone like us that likes getting out and meeting people. We have a talent team at Human Resources. If you're good with numbers, you can go into our finance department, and you always can work your way up to the top.
Amazing. So I keep hearing this word apprenticeship, right? And a lot of high school students, they know what an associate's degree is, a bachelor's degree. Can you guys elaborate on what an apprenticeship is?
Yeah, absolutely. So an apprenticeship could look anything depending on what union your student ends up going into. It's a 4-5 year program. And Terrence really knocked it out of the park when he said, earn while you learn. That's kind of just how we try to summarize it, right? So you are going to be working full time, right, for those 4 to 5 years, which is amazing. So you're collecting a steady paycheck while you're also collecting wonderful health benefits for you and your family. And in the interim of that, a few days a week, you're going to be going to school. So you are going to be learning your trade. So you're getting two schools, right? You're getting the job site application, and now you're getting the school education. So you're going to be learning a little bit about electrical theory, the practical side. You're going to be doing a lot of hands-on stuff. And through the course of those 4 years, you're going to be tested on each of these steps. So you then can elevate to the next level. And from there, you finish your apprenticeship and you become a journeyman. And once you become a journeyman, you now have that status. I think this is really unique and special. You are now a member of the IBEW that can travel all throughout the United States and earn a living. I think this is really important to mention, right? If you decide that, hey, you know what? I want to go to New York and I want to work on the Freedom Tower, you can do that. I want to go to California. I want to go to the Midwest. You have that opportunity because you are a member of the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers. I think that's really unique and special to the apprenticeship program as well.
Thank you. Nobody took the time to explain that to me when I was in high school, so thank you for doing that for these kids.
Of course, of course.
Okay, so can you tell us a little bit more about career pathways and the potential income that students would be able to make starting in that entry-level role and working their way through?
Yeah, absolutely. So as far as the field side goes, it can be limitless, right? But when you start as an apprentice, and I'll get to that limitless side because I'm sure everyone's eyes open up when they hear that, right? You're going to start as a first year. The rate's going to be at $18.47 an hour. And every year it increases, right? From there, 2015, 2351 as a third, 2687 as a fourth, and then as a journeyman, 3359. Now, this just pertains to the Tampa area. Every local and every region has their own rate and scale. In Florida, it's all kind of in the same wheelhouse. It's all very similar, right? As far as when I mentioned limitless, right? After you finish your apprenticeship and you become a journeyman, you have multiple career pathways. You could become an electrical engineer, an architect, an estimator, project manager. If you want to stay in the field, you could become a foreman, a superintendent, and you have the opportunity to become a business owner as well. And that's where you start tapping into, the larger sums that some individuals want to be entrepreneurs and they want to start looking at some bigger numbers. So once you have that foundation and you have that framework around you, the opportunities become endless.
And Josh, that is phenomenal. And that's why we love having Josh on our team and sharing with it. In my perspective up in the Jacksonville market, I like to add this aspect to it. It's a job that leads to a career. So whether you're coming in on the pathway where you're a CW, a construction wireman, and you're out in the field, and maybe you're like me, you weren't as strong at math in the beginning and you don't test into the apprenticeship program, well, there is still hope for you. Josh, I like to use big numbers because I have a hard time with the hourly rate sometimes. So I just tell students, you're gonna make about $40,000 a year, and that's including your benefits. But it's also including a pension and retirement. And a lot of times at your age, and I know when I was your age, I wasn't thinking about life after my working years. That's the great thing about coming into the trades. They are thinking about that for you. So for every hour you're working, they're putting money away in a bank account for you. And that's why I love the workforce development partners, because you all encompass financial literacy, all these aspects so when you all as students are getting exposed to these various careers and you're starting to get introduced to an opportunity to make a lot of money, making money is easy, saving it's the hard part. And so really making sure that you understand when you get these dollars, how can you continue to now make sure that your kids have a better life than you had? So as that CW route, whereas he gave you a definitive amount of time with the apprenticeship route, it may be 4 years in some jurisdictions, it may be 5. With the CW route, it's based off of hours. I believe that's around about 14,000 hours, 10 or 14,000 hours, Josh, that once you hit that out in the field, you now are equipped with the knowledge after being in the field and working, that now you can sit to take a test and you still can become a journeyman and still benefit from a lot of those things that he shared about owning your own company and doing those types of things. So there are two different tracks, all within the same industry, all with the same opportunity to make a lot of money.
Thank you so much. It truly sounds like the opportunities are limitless at Miller Electric. I appreciate you guys getting into such detail. I know the kids need to hear this. Thank you.
We love it.
So many students are familiar with the term tuition reimbursement, but now you guys are talking about earn as you learn. So do I pay anything out of pocket? How much are you guys reimbursing me? What does this model look like? How much is it costing me?
So that's another great question, guys. So I would say when it comes to the apprenticeship, it does not cost you anything, right? You come in, you are now welcome into what we call the Brotherhood, the IBEW, right? And you are going to school full time, which also touches on you getting college credits, right? A lot of people think it's just the practical side. I'm just going to be learning with my hands and this isn't going to really help me on the educational side of things, right? But that's couldn't be farther from the truth. So you are going to be developing college credits that you can transfer over. So if you decide to, after your apprenticeship, hey, you know what, I want to go to college and I want to get that engineering degree. Whatever credits you have now gotten through the apprenticeship program over those 4 years, you can now transfer over, right? It's not costing you anything. So now that whole earn while you learn thing is kind of coming back into play, and it can also benefit you on the back end.
Yeah, Josh, that is phenomenal. And he's so right about that. It's at no cost to you. I believe it's really just a minimum expense of the books. I know here in Jacksonville, it's about $700. And we're even working on trying to find ways to offset that expense. If there's a student that has some type of a need, then there is opportunities for that need to be addressed. But those credits, there's a partnership with Valdosta State University to where when they complete their apprenticeship program, I believe they're about halfway done to getting their 4-year degree. And so now if you come in and work now for a company for a year, like at Miller, you qualify for tuition reimbursement. I have the pleasure here at Miller of weekly having some employee that submits to me their reimbursement for taking classes in college, and we process it and we'll pay up to $5,000 at Miller, $5,250 towards your degree. So if you want to continue your education after you've started your apprenticeship program, you completed it, and you're halfway through with a bachelor's degree, we will join in that journey with you and we'll pay for the remainder of that. And if you're so inclined to get a master's degree, we'll continue to pay for that. So we completely believe in investing into our talent. And we like to refer to it as we attract talent to Miller, we develop them when they're at Miller Electric with us, and then we mobilize you. So like he said, you want to start off at a CW and you work your way as an apprentice and you work your way up to a journeyman, foreman, superintendent, you want to come onto the office professional side, one day you could be sitting in that office and being the CEO of Miller Electric.
Wow, that is so amazing that these students, can be debt-free from the start and then continue their education. So thank you so much.
So other than just advancing in their career with education, what other benefits does Miller Electric offer new employees?
I like to say, and we take, in Jacksonville, we take students on tours, and I can't wait to get to do that here in Tampa, and Josh is going to be leading those efforts. We'll bring them in and take them on a tour. I think one of the biggest benefits that employees come in learning about us is our culture. I mean, we are a third generation owned company, well over 3,000 employees, and we are a company that leads with trust. So no matter what your background, we believe that nobody should be judged based on their worst day. So no matter what your story is, what your circumstance is, you will feel very quickly when you come into Miller family. And I think when you have that feeling and sense of trust and family, it really motivates you, because there are 2 requirements to be successful employee at Miller. You better work hard and you got to show up on time. Mm-hmm. So you add those 2 secret ingredients with our trust that we're willing to offer freely, man, now you can get into that development stage that we talk about. So we have project manager academies. So if you're out in the field and, as he was saying, you're ready to try to make that leap up to be an estimator or a project manager, we have academies that we kind of choose our leaders from the field, put them into a cohort. And the cohort's a group of people that are in a similar position or job as you. And it's led by our leaders here at Miller. And they start teaching best practices of what it takes to shift or transition from the field into the office, or from the field from one level up to the next level. If you choose to come on the office pathway, we have internal apprenticeship programs. I think we've almost procured, a big word, but we've almost collected $1 million in the government for us to host apprenticeship programs internally at Miller. One was in business information modeling. So we have one employee, I think she's on her 4th year now, but she's been certified now that she can take all of this data. We're an $800 million company, so you can imagine working on hospitals and data centers and so many different projects around the country. She's able to take that data and put it into a graph where it tells the story. A simple story like how many employees we had on the job, how many hours that they worked, how much did it cost us to do the job, and then how much did we make on the job. Like, really break that information down so it better helps us when we're going to do the next job. And I believe in our first graduating class, we had 5. In the next one, I think we're up to about 12 or 13. So we just continually offer these types of opportunities and development for our talent.
Thank you so much. Would you be able to elaborate on a little bit of benefits, as in, like, do you guys help out with healthcare? Are you able to offer PTO? What types of additional baseline benefits does Miller Electric offer employees?
Yeah. So I came from New York City, and for me, that was a big thing, right? I was part of local union number 3. So coming down to Florida, that was one of the questions that I had. Hey, what am I going to have when I come to work for Miller? So full medical coverage and dental coverage for my entire family. This I know can be a deal breaker for people. So when this was offered to me, just walking in the door, day one, how could you say no to that, right? So for me, that was a huge benefit, and I think especially in today's market, especially with the way the world is headed with COVID and all these other things that are happening, it's vital, it's critical, and it's vital. And Miller offers it, and I'm absolutely blown away at the different plans and the things that they do offer to their employees.
Thanks so much.
Alrighty, so we're listening to this and we're super excited. So can you guys outline what the application and interview process entails?
Yes, absolutely. So as it pertains to the apprenticeship in the CW route that Terrence was touching on, right? It's honestly very simple. I know when I first sit down with students or potential candidates, they're kind of like scratching their head at like, this is it. This is all I have to do, right? So as it pertains to Tampa and Jacksonville, it's all very similar. So you go online or you meet with someone like myself, and then we walk you through the application process. You submit an application, right, with your high school diploma, some of those credentials. Over the age of 18, you have to have a driver's license and be physically capable of working. That is it. From there, you will be called by the apprenticeship program director and the team. They will contact you. They will bring you in to take an aptitude test, right? If you are not on if you're looking to go the CW route, that can look a little bit different. But as far as the apprenticeship goes, you're going to take an aptitude test. And there is book work and there are things that you can acquire to make sure that you excel at that, right? And that's also something that we could provide for the students. So from there, if all goes well, they'll then call you down for an interview. You'll go through that whole process. And then there's a few other things, drug tests, so on and so forth, that happen after. And from there, once the apprenticeship kicks off, here it looks like it's every 6 months or so, we'll get you out to work.
Thank you for breaking that down for the students.
Sure, absolutely.
So I know students are super excited and going to look online and research how they can get started with you guys. Can you explain a little bit how they could prepare right now to, I guess, be the best potential candidate for Miller Electric? What could they do now, and like, what are you guys looking for?
Yeah, so another phenomenal question. The field, we're always looking for individuals who are looking to grow, right? Retention seems to be a big issue that's happening throughout this country in all fields, right? So the idea is to present real opportunity to these young people, right? You graduated an apprenticeship, and one thing I laugh about with these kids is I said, who's excited to work for 40 years in the field with your tools? Not one hand. Who's excited to develop a career, become a CEO, an entrepreneur, an engineer, an executive in a company? The hands come up, right? So, what I look for when I sit down with candidates, we have these deep conversations, is an individual who's looking for opportunity. Someone who's looking not just for a job, that typical 9-to-5, go home, isn't really invested. We want you to be excited. We want you to be invested in this business. And if you're not too sure about the business, right? I love getting in front of students, having the conversations and showing those career pathways. So to answer your question, just someone who's eager, someone who's excited, because once they come into Miller and once they come into the field, we want to grow, we want to cultivate them and make them the absolute best versions of themselves. So.
Thank you so much.
Alrighty, so the last question we have, you guys have given great advice for the students, but what is something that you wish you had known in high school to better prepare yourself to be more successful in career and in life?
Well, for me, I wish I would have known more about the trades. I came to Miller Electric 3 years ago, leaving a job as a CEO of a nonprofit. In some people's opinions, I've done a lot. I've been a professional baseball player. I'm currently a city council member here in Jacksonville. I've been a principal and taught in the classroom for 14 years. So I've done a lot. But it wasn't until 3 years ago that I really learned a lot of the stuff that Josh and I are sharing with you all today. And it left me scratching my head saying, man, if I would have heard of this back when I was 18, I was fortunate I could hit a fastball and I could run fast. But if I didn't get that break, I wish I would have known about this option. So for me, I think I would like for you all to know that the trades, listen, college is a great choice. It's a really good one, but it's not always the best one for students. And it may be you sitting in the classroom right now that it's not the best option for you. Military, I salute anyone that's willing to put themselves forward for our country, but that may not be your route as well. So if you're that student that's sitting in the classroom and you're saying, I'm not too interested in college right now, military, no, that doesn't really interest me. The trades are a great opportunity. And it's not just being an electrician, but there's plumbing, there's welding, there's sheet metal. There's so many other trades out there. We represent the electrical construction trade, but it's one of many. And I would encourage you to continue to do your research and learn as much as you can, and don't give up on them.